Hello everyone, myself Shivangi Desai, your instructor for the video series of data mining and business intelligence. Today's our topic is classification and prediction. So let's get started. Classification is a data analysis task, that is the process of finding a model that describes and differentiates data classes and concepts. Classification is a supervised learning method. Now what is supervised learning? Supervised learning provides you with the powerful tools to classify and process data using machine language. With supervised learning, you use label data, which is a data set that has been classified, to infer a learning algorithm. The data set is used as the basis for predicting the classification of other unlabeled data through the use of machine learning algorithm. So we can say that in supervised learning, we are using a data set that is already classified in order to classify the data that is unknown or previously unseen. Classification is the problem of identifying to which of a set of categories a new observation belongs to on the basis of a training set of data. The goal of classification is to accurately predict the target class for each case in the data. As you can see in this image, we have taken example of a mail classifier in which a newly arrived mail can be classified either into the inbox or into the spam folder. Now let's understand the concept of classification with another set of examples. How teachers give grades to students based on their obtained marks? Let's take a scenario. As you can see in this figure, we have label X, which is the marks of individual students, and other are the classifiers that gives the grade based on the value of X. Say for example, if the value of X is greater than or equal to 90, then the grade will be given as A. So here A is the class label and X is the unknown data. If the value of X is greater than or equal to 80 but less than 90, then the class label will be B. If the value of X is greater than or equal to 70 and less than 80, then the class label will be C. If the value of X is greater than or equal to 60 but less than 70, then grade will be D. And if the value of X is less than 60, then the grade will be E. So we can say the grade A, B, C, D and E are the class labels. Before starting any project, we need to check its feasibility. In this case, a classifier is required to predict class labels such as safe and risky for adopting the project and to further approve it. A bank loans officer needs analysis of her data to learn which loan applicants are safe and which are risky for the bank, and accordingly they approve the grant for the loan. A marketing manager of any electronic store needs to analyze the data to help the guessing whether a customer will buy a computer or not. A medical researcher wants to analyze a cancer data to predict which one of 3 specific treatments a patient should receive. In each of these examples, if you have noticed that the data analysis task is classification, where a model or classifier is constructed to predict the class labels such as safe or risky for the loan applicants, yes or no for the marketing data, or treatment A, B or C for the medical data. Now let's discuss how the classification works. So basically, data classification is a two-step process consisting of a learning step where a classification model is constructed and a classification step where the model is used to predict class labels for given data. So let's understand how the first step works. A classifier is built describing a predetermined set of data classes or concepts. This is the learning step, or we can say training phase, where a classification algorithm builds the classifier by analyzing or learning from a training set made up of database tuples and their associated class labels. Each tuple that constitutes the training set is referred to as a category or class. These tuples can also be referred to as sample, object or data points. The first step of the classification process can also be viewed as the learning or a mapping or a function that can predict the associated class labels of a given tuple X. In this view, we wish to learn a mapping or function that separates the data classes. Typically, this mapping is represented in the form of classification rules, decision trees, or mathematical formulas. In our example, the mapping is represented as classification rules that identify tenure of a faculty. The rules can be used to categorize future data tuples as well as provide deeper insight into the data contents. Now let's discuss the second step. In the second step, the model is used for classification. First, the predictive accuracy of a classifier is estimated and then the model is used for further classification. If we were to use the training set to measure the classifier's accuracy, this estimate would likely to be optimistic because the classifier tends to overfit the data. Now what is overfitting of data? That is, during learning it may incorporate some particular anomalies of the training data that are not present in the general data set overall. Therefore, a test set is used which is made up of test tuples and their associated class labels. They are independent of the training tuples, meaning that they were not used to construct the classifier. The accuracy of a classifier on a given test set is the percentage of test set tuples that are correctly classified by the classifier. The associated class labels of each test tuple is compared with the learned classifier's class prediction for that tuple. If the accuracy of the classifier is considered acceptable, the classifier can be used to classify future data tuples for which the class label is not known. Such data are also referred to as unknown or previously unseen data. For example, the classification rules learned in the figure from the analysis of data from previous faculty tenure can be used to approve or reject new or future faculty tenures. So this is all about classification process. Now let's discuss the methods of classification. As you can see in this figure, we can say there are 4 different methods that can be used to classify the data, which are decision tree, Bayesian classification, rule-based classification and neural network. Well, all this method will be covered in the next lectures. So let's discuss what is prediction. Prediction refers to the output of an algorithm after it has been trained on a historical data set and applied to new data when forecasting the likelihood of a particular outcome such as weather. Prediction in data mining is to identify data points purely on the description of another related data value. It is not necessarily related to future events, but the used variables are unknown. Prediction derives the relationship between a thing you know and a thing you need to predict for future reference. For example, prediction models in data mining are used by a marketing manager who predict that how much amount a particular customer will spend during a sale so that upcoming sale amount can be planned accordingly. The prediction in data mining is known as numeric prediction. Generally, regression analysis is used for prediction. Now what is regression? Regression analysis is basically used for 2 different approaches. First, regression analysis is widely used for prediction and forecasting where its use has substantial overlap with the field of machine learning. On the second side, in some situations regression analysis can be used to infer causal relationships between the independent and dependent variables. But the most important point is regression by themselves only reveal relationships between a dependent variable and a collection of independent variable in a fixed data set. So we will understand this concept thoroughly in the next videos. Now let's discuss the methods of prediction. So as you can see in the figure, there are 3 different methods that can be used for prediction, which are linear regression, non-linear regression and logistic regression. We will cover all these methods in the next videos. Now let's discuss the issues relevant to the classification and prediction. Along with the issues regarding classification and prediction, we also will discuss the issues regarding pre-processing of the data for classification and prediction. We will also have an overview of criteria for the comparison and evaluation of classification methods. So first thing is preparing the data for classification and prediction. Here the list of methods are given, which are the steps involved in pre-processing which may be applied to the data in order to help improve the accuracy, efficiency and scalability of the classification or prediction process. So very first step is data cleaning. This refers to the pre-processing of data in order to remove or reduce noise by applying smoothing techniques and the treatment of missing values. Although most classification algorithms have some mechanisms for handling noisy or missing data, this step can help reduce confusion during learning. Second step is relevance analysis. Many of the attributes in the data may be irrelevant to the classification or prediction task. For example, data recording the day of the week on which a bank loan application was filled is unlikely to be relevant to the success of the application. Furthermore, other attributes may be redundant. For example, age can be derived from the date of birth. So there is no need to have both the attributes, that is age and date of birth. Such attribute is called redundant attributes. Hence, relevance analysis may be performed on the data with the aim of removing any irrelevant or redundant attributes from the learning process. In machine learning, this step is known as feature selection. Including such attribute may otherwise slow down and possibly mislead the learning step. So in order to improve the efficiency, we perform this relevance analysis. Ideally, the time spent on relevance analysis when added to the time spent on learning from the resulting reduced feature subset should be less than the time that would have been spent on learning from the original set of features. Hence, such analysis can help improve classification efficiency and scalability. Third step is data transformation. The data can be generalized to higher level concepts. Concept hierarchy may be used for this purpose. This is particularly useful for continuous valued attributes. For example, numeric values for the attribute income may be generalized to discrete ranges such as low, medium and high. Similarly, nominal valued attributes like street can be generalized to higher level concepts like city, state or even country. Since generalization compresses the original training data, fewer input and output operations may be involved during learning, and this will help to speed up the classification process. Next topic is comparing classification method. Classification and prediction method can be compared and evaluated according to the given criteria. The first criteria is predictive accuracy. This refers to the ability of the model to correctly predict the class level of new or previously unseen data. Second criteria is speed. This refers to the computation cost involved in generating and using the model. Next is robustness. This is the ability of the model to make correct predictions given noisy data or data with missing values. Next criteria is scalability. This refers to the ability to construct the model efficiently given the large amount of data. And last criteria is interpretability, which refers to the level of understanding and insight that is provided by the model. So, this is all about the issues regarding classification and prediction. So, in today's lecture, we had a brief introduction to the basic concept of classification and prediction along with the methods which are used for classification and prediction. That's it for this lecture. Thank you.